What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We're playing Football Coach College Dynasty in this video, and today we'll be discussing how to start a dynasty with a one-star school. Definitely a couple super important building blocks that you want to have in place when you're starting your one-star school build here. So I'm going to walk you through my mind and show you a couple of the steps that I take when starting a new rebuild. If this content is helpful for you, please like the video, and if you love football sims, subscribe to the channel. And for now, let's get into the content. Thanks for watching as always, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace. All right, so here we are. I'm starting up a coach career. Just so you guys know, I'm using a modded universe. So just getting that out in front. We're using the beautiful CFB universe. So I've also, with that, I have opted into an 8-team playoff with only conference championships getting a bid. So there are 8 conferences in this mod, and the champions of those 8 conferences will be admitted to the playoffs. Furthermore, I've also disabled NIL. So just giving you guys a heads up with those couple of settings changes, but otherwise it's on legend difficulty. So here we go. How to start with a one-star team. I think like there are a couple of really important things. Your coach archetype obviously it's really, I think it's your coach archetype and your coaching staff, and choosing a good balance between those things and continuing to keep that balance as you go throughout your playthrough. I've always opted for pure CEO. I've looked at some of the new ones that they've added, and there's a nice like balance to all of these here. So they've added some nice options. I still think the pure CEO archetype is the meta, in my opinion, because training is really going to be the key stat early on. Being able to take in these lower players with recruiting as sort of like a secondary trait, because you can, like, when you're hunting through these 1, 2, and 3-star recruits, you're going to be able to pull in some guys with high potential, no matter if they're 1-star, 2-star, 3-star. So being able to train those high potential players is really the most important thing. So I'm really going to focus on buffing my coach's training early on. And then balancing that, I've tried to get some coordinators that are actually really strong with play calling. So because I'm not going to be doing that, my coach is going to be focused on the roster building part. So this is your classic like GM to coordinator setup here if you were running like a pro sim. So I picked Cody Conley, who has the highest play calling rating and has a little bit of training and recruiting as well. Hayden Sellers here. I actually had a few choices with really high play calling. I could have gone really high training here with Derek Potts. Actually, you know what? I think I might do that. I think I'm going to go with this here. Derek Potts. The recruiting is a couple of points lower, but I think the training is going to be really important. So we'll go with Derek Potts early on, and we'll run a 4-4 in conservative zone. I'm not really too concerned about matching up my playbooks quite yet, because my coach doesn't really have any offense or defense rating that would really like provide a crazy bonus when tying it to these 2 coordinators. So really what's most important for me is I'm just getting a couple of coordinators that are the best possible play callers, but also have some inherent traits in there as well to help with some of the other things. And I might actually switch here. I'm second thoughts here. I'm going with Austin Freeman, just for the training ability. Because I don't think recruiting is going to be as important early on as some may think it be. We'll be able to find some decent recruits of lower prestige early on, and with high potential, we'll be able to train them up, really focusing on training early on. So here we go. This is my setup. There are a number of 1-star teams available in this mod. Quite a few, actually. I ended up going with St. Thomas. I like the purple. But also, Minnesota. Minnesota kind of matches up with my... I chose the zip code 55555. Young America, Minnesota. Never heard of that before, but we got the Minnesota background. So like a hometown feel, We're going to build up St. Thomas into a 10-star school here. So let's do it. St. T. Okay, so here we are, St. Thomas 2025. We've got our team here. We're going to make some positional changes real quick. Quarterbacks are a struggle. That's fine. Some running backs here. One that would be a better receiver. He's a sophomore. Not a lot of strong options here. I think one of the most important things that you'll want to focus on with positional changes and such is that I think like getting somebody like obviously a big jump like this 57 to 61 is important, but where would they slot here? So this is a freshman, so they're going to have a lot of ramp up time. In most cases you want to get them into the position that they're just a best fit for. But you also want to keep some balance, and you know, you might be more inclined to move an upperclassman than you would a lowerclassman, because this tight end with A+ potential could the potential when he gets to receiver could be a little different. So it could be a much stronger ramp up if he stays a tight end, especially just being a freshman so early on. But this senior, for example, like a better receiver, it's a very low likely chance that he gets on the field as a tight end. So especially having a spread offense, let's just move him to receiver. He might not make a dent as a receiver either. But just getting him to a spot where he's a little bit better of a fit. So those are the sorts of things that I look for. What class you're in oftentimes matters quite a bit. O-line's mostly going to stay O-line. Kicker. The defense is where there's the most versatility. You might see some receiver to running back stuff or vice versa, or receiver to tight end. But the defense, a lot of times you could have like the linebackers are really like super versatile. What I've noticed most of the time, and just want to be cognizant of the fact that we're going to be running. I sort of forgot my coordinator already, but 4-4 split. So we're running an 8-man front. We want a lot of linebackers and we want a lot of receivers. Okay. So we actually want to keep some of the power at linebacker here for sure. However, in this case, I think, going from linebacker to D-line is totally fine. And D-line's like super important. So we want to make sure we stack that properly. This will give us a little bit more weight up on the D-line. Linebacker looking a little tough right now, especially we've got some guys that are probably better in the secondary. Let's check and see how the secondary is looking. We look like we'd be a much stronger like nickel potentially. Let's look at this. So this is a junior right here. I think we actually keep him in linebacker. I don't know. That's a tough one. So he's gonna get over here to corner and might be one of many. We need to deprioritize our secondary a little bit. Especially safety, because I think we're probably not going to be running a lot of safety. It's probably a lot of single high stuff. Yeah, it's probably going to be better to have Asher here. He's 4 points better. I mean, it's hard to ignore that. Okay, so we've got our progressions here. A few guys jumped into the 80s, but nothing extreme. Let's check out our biggest gains, I guess. So O-lineman jumped up to a 66. That's really good, freshman. So we've got some pretty solid freshmen coming up here. It's always a good thing to see. And here's the important part. So the game plan install. I'm going to look to my coordinators for the most part, but I think switching to a nickel, like, we gotta, like, we've really got to be thinking about the roster in this case. Looking at linebacker in particular, if we're going 4-4, we're starting 70, 71, 72, 76. If we're going with a nickel, we're going 83, 81, 79. So our corners at this point, and these two safeties as well. So yeah, I'd rather like limit the amount of linebackers that we have to use right now. So I think I'm gonna opt for a nickel, and you can tell going from 4-4 to nickel, because my play calling is only a 1, it doesn't really sway this too much. So, well, let's stay in the nickel. And why not? We'll go aggressive zone. We'll go with my play calling preparations. Offensively, it's not going to make a difference either because I only have one, so I can choose either of the two play calling styles. Spread, which is going to be a lot of receivers, or pistol, which is more of a single back with a mobile quarterback look, and then pass first or run first. So we do have some flexibility. Looking at our quarterback, his athleticism, he's fast. He's not slow, I should say. The ball carrier vision is pretty decent. He's okay as a quarterback. I mean, running backs are kind of weak in this case. Our wide receivers are a little bit deeper. I think, man, we probably want to be run first. Smaller. Yeah, I think like the speed and the ball carrier vision is his best trait. And he can throw a little bit. Maybe we do want a little pistol just to allow him to operate on the run a little bit. But I don't think either way it's going to end up going very well. We're not really like we're deep at receiver, but we're not really like, it's not like we're like super strong at receiver. So I think let's go pistol and run first. We'll go with my play calling preferences, and I'm just going to leave everything else balanced. Okay, let's make some trainings here. We definitely need to improve our quarterback. And I think possibly going for like, because we took the pistol and run first angle, maybe possibly speed might be the area that we want him to improve. And that made a big jump. So that's good. Definitely need to train our running backs. They are not good right now. Ooh. Oh boy. Good ball carrier vision at least. Decent speed and evasion, so let's go strength here. Nice, +4, very good. O-line. I'm going to prioritize the run blocking here for these two. They also have strong potential, so it should be a pretty nice jump. Nice. Nice. So the offensive line looking pretty good early here. We should be able to lean on that. And I probably need to do kick power at some point, but we only have defensive trainings left. Some block shedding for my homie here. Some tackling here for this guy. Okay. So here we go. It's time to set up the board. I would highly recommend setting up a filter to make things a lot quicker for you. So how I'd probably want to set this up here is exclude targeted recruits. And this is going to be our filter that we'll use to fill in our target list, because we're going to be doing this. We're going to be like dumping a few guys in and taking a few guys out here and there. We'd probably want unscouted only. I'll leave this open for now, although I do preferably want to get high schoolers. Yeah, I think I first want to prioritize being in the top 5 for a lot of these. And then let's go get... Let's sort it by overall, actually. Okay, and this is a good place to start here, so... I'm going to call this list fill. Alright. I'm going to start by grabbing as many high school players as possible here, because I'm going to try to skip the JUCO one. So for now, I'm going to take JUCO and transfer out of here, but I'm not going to save that to my filter. So let's just go through... Ugh, and you know what? The 70s I want in there no matter what. Probably all of these high, like 65 and above, I'm not really worried about potential, because those guys are going to have like a pretty good head start with their overall already. So I'll add them in for sure. Probably send most of those guys to camp. Let's go ahead and fill out this list. What are we at right now? We are at 30 out of 40. We have 12 corners right now in here. Whew. We're going to need a little bit more balance than that. Looking at our positions. Okay. So looking at how this shook out, we have a lot of linebackers and corners. I'm going to at least do a little scouting first before I make some tweaks to that. So I think let's just go ahead and send the best players to camp here. I'm going to sort this by overall to start. So all the best players are going to camp. Okay. And then it becomes a matter of... Let's jump to the bottom of the list. Check out our worst players here. This one already has 15% scouted. Interesting. All right, so I'm able to get a quick jump on some of these guys. These two, because we get 5% each week, I'm going to leave them as is and let them get the... I'm not going to waste a scout on them, because we'll know their early potential in the next one. I'm going to double click some of these. Okay. So some decent potentials here revealed. So I'm gonna go a B quarterback, 61. I'll throw a good pitch on that one. This corner looks to be pretty good, but we have a lot of corners in here. We also have a lot of linebackers in here too, so I guess it doesn't really matter. $62D is not great. I'm gonna hold off on removing him because we don't have a lot of D linemen right now. 59 C- linebacker. Big body tells me he could maybe play pretty well as like a D lineman, 285. So this is kind of a D lineman right here. I'm gonna hold on that too. I'm not gonna remove any quite yet. Let's jump back to the first page. We already know those guys. I'm assuming these high overall players we're gonna want in some sense. So let me just get in here and pitch. Most of the rest of these are 65, so there's only 2 pitches left, but I'm going to auto-sign the rest. Okay. That'll be pretty revealing, and we can check out what happens in spring 2 and have a little bit more of an idea of where we want to take it. All right, so let's get back to the offensive line here. We need some strength on Sanford, but also the pass blocking is pretty bad. +3. Run block and pass block. Let's do a little pass block there. Nice. The offensive line getting better. We could use some strength here. +3, cool. Let's get a little kick power for the boy. +4, great. And now we have 2 defensive trainings left. Pursuit is probably somewhat important. Yep. That's too low, even for a D lineman. We want to get that up a little bit. Nice. Back to recruiting here now, and let's get back into our target list and see what we've uncovered. It's a C-. Oh, that's that linebacker that we're checking out. All right. I first want to see if there are any one-clicks that we can get here. There's one. C+. Couple Fs right here, low 60s. Here's a 1-click, here's a 1-click, here's a 1-click. Bunch of the guys that we sent to camps. One, two, three, four. All right, so a lot of C's and D minuses from these 70 overall players, but 70 overall already going to be really good for a freshman. So even with the C-, like they're not going to progress as fast, but like they're already going to be like borderline starters for our team. So definitely want to keep them in. Let's sort it by overall. Send these couple guys to camp. Here's a camp send. Yep, definitely want to send this one. He's really good. Send that to camp. 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 I skipped this F- for now. Here's a camp. Let's get some quicker reveals here. All right, so right now, we'll jump back to the start here. But right now, I'm keeping a lot of corners and linebackers and stuff in here, and we're just gonna see how some of this shakes out. This 70C+ is probably a good starting pitch, and the 71C-, maybe the 68. I'm gonna kind of work down by overall, and now I'm looking for 60s with a B here, or a C+ even. And start to prioritize some of those. It's a B-, E-, B, and then grab like this B- and maybe this B right here. All right, and we'll just auto assign the other couple. Still not really pulling the trigger on any recruits that I don't like necessarily, but in the summertime, I think we may have some clearer answers now that we have revealed the potential for most of our players. Let's quickly do our trainings. We haven't hit any receivers yet. You got to be able to catch the ball. Probably route running here. Probably speed. Oh, yeah. Probably speed. Let's get over to the D line again. We could use a little strength from this guy. Okay, linebacker. Still going to be a starter here, this guy. Probably needs some block shedding. It's pretty bad. And then we got one more. Haven't done any corner yet. And we are playing an aggressive zone defense, so we do need some zone coverage from our guy here. Bump that up. Okay. Let's get right into recruiting. So we still have a pretty uneven balance here. No linemen. We need a tight end, but a receiver could be a tight end. We could find one there. But I guess we do have a lot of needs in linebacker and corner, so it's fine. That probably makes sense that there are a lot of them too. So, but we'll we want to keep it a little bit more balanced if possible. But let's get this sorted by overall. A lot of these guys are going to be revealed in the next summertime, so I'm just going to wait on those. I'm going to get these to a point where they can be revealed in the next one. Yeah, a lot of these guys are going to be next time reveals. So yeah, I guess what I might do then is start to reveal some of these now. So here's a D-, C+. Okay. So we've got this sorted by overall here, and like a 58 C-, probably one that we remove. A 61 D-, even though it's a lineman too, probably one that we remove. A 61 F+, probably a remove. 61D, our other D lineman, of course, remove it. Linebacker, 62F, probably a remove. 61 C-. I'm not going to go crazy with removing, but 63 D-, yeah, that's probably 63 B+ there, cool. 66, now we're in like the 66 section where potential not necessarily as big a play. All right, let's send our guys with best potential here to camp. These are the guys that we're going to want in our building. We're going to want to develop these guys. Whoops, I missed that one. And now, I mean, yeah. Now overall probably becomes more of a factor here, so we want to send our best overalls to camp now. Even if it's an F. All right. And I see I can schedule a visit here. I'm going to hold off on that for a moment. Because we're going to get some bonuses revealed here soon in the regular season. So I'm going to hold off on scheduling visits until that point. All right, and then if we keep it sorted by overall, I think we want to hit... Oh, we only got 370 overalls here now, but maybe this one first, then this one, then this one. Here, that. A lot of these guys we sent to camp, but here's a 66B. Okay. And then probably get these other two 70s pitched and then auto assign the others. Meanwhile, we got rid of 6 targets. Let's throw our filter back on and get some new talent in here. Oh, there we go. So here are some new ones. I'm going to skip this low one here and maybe grab, yeah, the high, medium, medium. Just D-line in here, quarterback. D-line. Actually remove this linebacker. The interest is low for this D-lineman. Maybe remove that. Get a little bit more particular on how we're adding here. A couple more linebackers. We don't have an O-lineman yet. Let's get one in there. Maybe remove this linebacker and grab this one instead. Yeah. All right, so that gives us a little bit more balance. All right, cool. So that should, then we can go right to my targets as well, and we still have, oh, well, actually we used up all our scouts. So we're good to go. Okay. Quickly run through some of our trainings here. We are probably going to use the second running back, so it's probably good to have something there. We still haven't done much of our corners. Yeah. Get zone coverage, nice. This one we probably want defensive IQ. And we have one more head coach one left. Speed for this guy. And then one more offensive training. Let's throw one more on our quarterback here. Quarterback IQ. Cool. Right back into recruiting. We are in our target list. Let's sort it by scout percentage. Flip to the end. I'm just going to get some quick reveals here. All right, so 59D, we could probably remove that. Oh, sorry, hold up. Let's go. Potential here. 60D minus. Yep. See you later. Actually, it's probably better to do it by overall. B minus. We want to be seeing all B's and C's down here. Looks like that's the case, except for the 64 F minus. Yeah, we could remove that one. That's a little too low for my liking. All right. Let's now sort by potential again and send anybody to camp that has not been. Get them in there. And then we'll actually pitch by potential in this one as well. Until we get to about B. And then let's flip it to overall. Get this B minus here. Get this B minus. All right, cool. Still 2 camp invites, huh? Did we not use all of them? Did we miss anybody? Who hasn't gone to camp? I guess we could invite a couple more guys back in here. Yeah, let's grab these 3. Jump back to our target list. And we'll send send the 260 overalls. Cool. All right, guys. Hope that gives you a good idea on how to get started with your low prestige school. We'll have more videos to come like this, tutorial style, giving you a look inside my mind and how I attack my football coach college dynasty franchise. All right, guys, have a good one. We'll catch you in the next video. Peace.